Yeah, I think it's 11:07.
Yeah.
Can we start?
Yes, sir. So good morning, everyone. Hope you all are well. You all are keeping well, and your family members are also fine. So we have gathered here today to talk about SEMA and what are the career options available with SEMA. Once you complete the SEMA course, what are the career options available with us? So for this, we have with us today Professor Gautama Rao, who is the Director and Dean of Geetam Institute of Management. And we also have with us Bhakti Rane, Tasneem, and Akansha is also there. She will be joining in a short while. They are from SEMA. So they will guide you through the entire SEMA details and all. In case if you have any queries, please feel free to ask. You can put your questions in the Q&A box. We will address them towards the end of the session. You can also raise your hand and we will allow you to ask your questions. Okay. So this is an interactive session. So in case if you have any, you want any further clarification about the subject, please feel free to ask. So sir, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. In particular, Tasneem, uh, Bhakti, Rane, Kia, my colleagues, Sham as well, and all the prospective students who have joined us. Warm welcome to all of you to this joint webinar organized by Geetam Deemed to be University and SEMA Indian chapter. Uh, to start with, I would like to thank you all for joining us this morning in order to find out more about this program that is currently offered by Geetam Deemed to be University. I think by now we are all aware that SEMA, which is the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants of UK, is an internationally recognized qualification, and most of the professionals who are having this coveted qualification, they are occupying very key positions wherever they work. I mean, this being a UK qualification, you will see a lot of CEOs and senior executives, having SEMA qualification in addition to their, let's say, either a business degree or an engineering degree. And that explains why this is the most sought after qualification, because they progress quite fast, with a qualification like SEMA. And a lot of students would want to find out the difference between a course like ACCA or CA and SEMA. I think by now some of you are aware, ACCA or CA, they focus more on external reporting, in terms of preparing the financial statements like statement of P&L, statement of financial position, cash flow statement. They basically meet the external requirements, statutory requirements, focusing more on the past data. Whereas management accountants, their orientation is totally different. They focus more on the future. Of course, they make use of the past and the present information. They focus both on quantitative and qualitative information, whereas financial accounting focuses only on quantitative information. And SEMA qualified people also focus on both operational and financial metrics, whereas in the case of financial accountants, they only focus on financial metrics. So that explains why SEMA has been recognized as one of the best qualifications in the sphere of business and the most sought after qualification. There were many studies conducted in UK and elsewhere to find out, the differences of salaries between management accountants and other types of accountants, and career progression wise, who progresses faster. So all these studies have confirmed that SEMA, stands, in its own league, and that's the reason why, people always strive to achieve this great qualification. Now, coming to why studying SEMA, let's say in Geetam. What Geetam has done is, Geetam has combined two programs called BBA Management Accounting and SEMA. So it's like within 3 years, instead of you only getting BBA or let's say SEMA, you get both of them. So these are integrated. That means you kill two birds with one shot. Now, why do I speak with confidence with regard to these? Because my association with SEMA goes back to 1988 when I left India, being a qualified cost and management accountant for the first time. Right from 1988 to 2014, until I returned to India, for 26 years, I taught on ACCA program, SEMA program, and also CFA of USA. And God was kind enough to me. We were able to produce the world rankers. Certain times they were number one, number two, consistently in both SEMA and ACCA exams. So I could say a lot of things about SEMA because I taught papers at various levels, right from the first level to the fourth level. Those days it was stage one, stage two, stage three, stage four. Uh, and then when I came to India in 2014, I had to settle with Indian CA for a period of 5 years. And I'm happy to be again back in the SEMA curriculum because I'm now the director and dean at GIM in Visakhapatnam. And along with me, we have a few other Indian chartered accountants, who are dedicated to teach on this program, BBA and SEMA. Now, I know a lot of you are very young and, you have just completed your plus two. A lot of people think that SEMA is no good for people who have not done business or accounting. Many people think it is only good for those who have done the commerce subjects. So people coming from MPC or BPC background, they will have all sorts of difficulties. It is just a misconception. Everyone starts at the same level. It's a zero base for everyone. This course does not assume that it is only useful for those who are coming from commerce background. So whether you have done MPC, you have done BPC, whether you have done liberal arts, you can still come and join on this program. And this program has gained momentum mainly because these days, as you are aware, there is the issue of big data. There is enormous amount of data created, I would say in the last 17, 18 years. And now the management accountant comes into play by processing all that information and identifying the relevant information and providing that relevant information to managers for informed decision making. Because the management accountants work to provide that vital information that will enable other managers to make effective decisions. That is how they end up playing very, very important strategic role in the way the businesses are run for sustained business performance. And the people who go through the SEMA curriculum over a period of 3 years, they end up with a strategic mindset because everything they analyze, everything they look at, you can see a SEMA student has got a different perspective to it. They are students, but we don't look at them as students. We look at them as future managers. We look at them as the future business leaders. So those who are contemplating to join this program, I can assure you, SEMA in general and doing BBA and SEMA together, you will reap massive benefits over a period of 3 years. But I would like to end up by having one word of caution for you. Yes, there are many good things said about SEMA, but remember, the road to success is always bumpy. I don't want any student here to assume, okay, I will spend 3 years, I'll be SEMA qualified, and then I will be a big consultant in Big Five, or I will be a management accountant in a multinational company. No, you really have to earn it. For you to be a superstar in your career, I'm afraid those 3 years, you need to work hard. I wouldn't say that you have to work hard day and night, but at least if you can enjoy what you learn and you learn systematically, methodically, surely you can find your way to success. So I think with these, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. This course, these two programs combined, academic and professional qualifications, they are available in Visakhapatnam campus and also in the Hyderabad campus. So I will be around to answer any questions which you have. Tasneem, Bhakti, Kia, Ganashyam, I would like to thank you once again. Please proceed with the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful articulation and explanation about the CIMA qualification and for putting it across so simply for the students to understand it so well. You have actually done half of our job in terms of explaining. So thank you. That all comes with your experience. And we're lucky to have you as the director of GTAM, who's always there to support the students throughout their learning journey. So thank you always for being there. And thank you, the entire GTAM team, for giving us this platform to interact with the students. We have our friend Bhakti, who's going to take us through the entire presentation of CIMA. And I can see a lot of raised hands and questions, which I believe throughout the presentation will be answered. And of course, please pay attention, and whatever questions you have, please ask us after the presentation, because we are here to solve all your doubts and clear all your confusion in terms of helping you decide on your career. So be with us for another 1 hour and you'll get clarifications on all your questions. Thank you. Over to you, Bhakti.
Thank you, Tasneem. Hello, everyone. I'm not able to, just see all of you in person. So that's kind of a bummer, but yes. So, this is the life that we have to get used to for another end of this year. Hopefully by next year, the colleges and everything will open and we'll be able to meet each other just the way before the pandemic started. So yeah, keeping fingers crossed for it. So let's just start. I'm gonna start sharing my screen and I'm just gonna walk you through what exactly, what CIMA is. I'll just tell you that. But before that, I want to give you all few details about how the entire space of careers in finance is changing. Okay, so I actually just want to start off. I want to kick off by asking you all about, what do you think will be some of the biggest challenges that you guys will face in your career? Will it be something like, just, I don't know, politics in your workspace, or will it be something like, say, maybe automation that will be happening, or technological advances, or you just think that, no, I'm not going to have any problems. I'm just going to fly away and just have a great career path altogether. Just put your things in the chat box. Also, we'll be taking all the questions at the end. Okay. So we have, okay, technological advances, Venu says. Anybody else? Okay, it would be great if you guys can just, give your answers quickly, so we'll be able to move along faster. Okay, so let's just say, okay, technological advances. Venu, as you said, yes, that is correct. So technological advances is something that is going to change, or it has changed a lot of things the way we have known, or the way our parents have known. Now, come to think of it, let's just say here's one chart of how activities and everything has transformed over the last several generations or several decades. Okay, so once upon a time, the physical work that people did, or the manual labor that people did, was actually highly valued. If you remember, in the ancient times, India was one of the most sought after countries for its dexterous needlework, for its dexterous arts and crafts. We still are, but the way it would fetch us money in the ancient time, it doesn't do that anymore as such. We are more valued for our IT knowledge and for our IT expertise. So that's how actually, things have actually gotten automated over the several period of years. No one could have actually, thought about that, okay, maybe something like, data collection or stakeholder interactions could be automated. But yes, those all things are also getting automated over the period of time. And now a very good example of this is you guys just go and ask your grandparents. if they ever thought that there would be a job called a software developer. When they were growing up, if they had known about it, they would have just said, no, there's never going to be something like this. But now software developer is one of the biggest jobs out there in the market, and it is one of the sought after jobs in the market. However, now with the advent of AI and everything, even the job of software developer is getting automated, if you know what I mean. Okay, so there are going to be several jobs that are going to be there in the future, which we also don't really know that how things are going to change, and what all new rules that are going to come up. So here's another great example of how things keep on changing. So no one will really think or about something like a job of a doctor can get automated, or a job of a surgeon can get automated. How many actually of you know about this thing or the machine called IBM Watson? Has anyone heard before about IBM? So let me tell you what IBM Watson is. So IBM Watson is a machine or a computer in a way, an artificial intelligence software built by IBM. And they did it somewhere around like, some 8-10 years back. And what does IBM Watson does? It is actually named after one of the old CEOs. That person is no more around. But what IBM Watson does is that it gives out legal advice, okay, at for something as cheap as $10. Now, those of you who know how American legal system works, their legal firms are one of the biggest or the most money-making enterprises in the country. Okay, lawyers are one of the highly paid individuals or the professionals in the country. Now, imagine this, and they charge like bomb fees. Okay, they actually people say that in India, if you go in for a in a court case, that you are just going to lose money, but no, in US it is much more expensive. Trust me, and it's not just because of the ROE or something. It's really very expensive that they really charge bomb fees. Now, this machine gives you legal advice at something as cheap as about $10 to $15, and it actually gives you legal advice in the spoken language. So in the natural human language, so you can just dictate your problem to the machine, and then to that it will give you a legal advice within like some 15-20 minutes. So it is that easy. Now that is the kind of job that no one really thought or imagined can be automated. But even something like this, like giving a legal advice, or people actually giving out, or the job of a surgeon is kind of getting automated now as well because of the machines. Now that's the thing, that we have to be more human, we have to be more on the managerial side to beat the bot. Okay, now here is another interesting survey which the UN Jobs has actually conducted back in 2018. Okay, so what the survey actually tells you is that things are going to change over a period of time. Now imagine in a big organization like your Tatas or your Reliance and your Wipro and all, they would actually employ a team of over 500 or 800 people who will actually do that entire accounting for that one unit of their one business unit. Okay, and they would actually take about just 1 month or so to actually arrange your P&Ls and everything. Now because of AI, now because of your technology, all these functions have been reduced tremendously. You don't really need many people to manage all the data. So that entire work is done by just a team of mere 5 or 6 or maybe just even 2 people. And that entire data is just collated in such a way that you can just fetch that data at the click of a button and just deliver your reports. You don't really need an entire week or 2 to just create one report that the management has requested for. So having said that, a lot of these jobs have been automated, and a lot of people have now had to rethink what their skill set is. Okay, so earlier one person was just dedicated for entering the data. Not one person, maybe more people were just dedicated for entering the data. Now you don't need actually that entire thing. Your data is being collected at several different points, and you don't really have to just think about, okay, maybe this is a point where I could have missed it out, but the technology is doing that work for us. Those of you who have seen that Netflix documentary about social dilemma, I don't need to tell you about how the data is collected and everything, so you guys already know about it, how the big techies are doing it for us. But okay, that's another separate argument or the issue that we can talk about. But let's just now come back to this report of us. So this future of job reports by World Economic Forum, we can also share the link for you guys. It's one of the most thorough and very good reports that the WEF has actually published, and I'll just actually ask you guys to go and check it out later also, because the report also talks about finance sector in detail. It also talks about India in detail and how the Indian jobs are going to be, and finance and India in detail again in their report. So for all of you, the aspiring professionals, actually it will be more helpful for you to design your entire career strategy just on the basis of this report. So the report actually tells you which all roles are going to be stable, which all new roles are going to come up, and which are going to be some redundant roles. Now, something like accounting and bookkeeping, data entry clerks, accountants and auditors, financial analysts, cashiers and ticket clerks, these all jobs are going to get redundant over a period of time. Now, my mom retired this year from a bank and she was a cashier. If I just go and tell her that your job, it's good that you retired in time, your job is going to get redundant over in the next few years, she will just laugh at me. But yes, that is going to happen because now you have a lot of just cashier machines. How many of you actually enjoy going to a bank? Especially if you have an account in SBI, none of you do, I'm pretty sure, or in any other government banks. I definitely don't enjoy going to a bank at all. So we actually prefer doing all our transactions online. And so the new roles that are going to come up are something like, data analyst and scientist. More of these are about, the technological roles that are going to come up. And some of the roles that are going to stay there are something like, again, your managing directors and chief executives, general and operations manager, financial and investment advisors, because you are a person, you earn money, so you are going to need people to manage your finances. Okay, you're a risk management specialist and all. So these are going to roles that are going to be there. So your job is to land yourself in one of these roles over here. Okay, and here is another data that they have actually published, that which are roles that are going to be there for 2018, 2022, and then not going to be there as much in within the next few years. Now, remember, this result or the report was published in 2018. At the time, we had no inclination or we had no idea that there would be something like a COVID-19 hitting us in the face. And all these changes, all the technological advancement have been accelerated by just a period of 10 years in just 1 year. Okay, so the time it would have taken us to achieve that entire growth that we have achieved technologically in the past 1 year, it would have taken us 10 years. So all these roles, all these processes, all these changes have actually accelerated over a period of time. Now, another thing that this report actually talks about is that majority of the companies, say around, I think it says 67% of them actually say that they would rather invest in emerging technologies than actually invest in, developing the talent that they already have. They would rather actually attract new talent, okay, instead of just training the current individuals or their current employees as it is. So the job of upskilling ourselves or the job of upgrading ourselves lies with us. Okay, it lies with the employees themselves. So they are not really going to push you that, okay, just go to this seminar or go to this learning program here and there. They would just rather hire someone who already possesses that skill and then pay them higher salaries and get on with it. So you need someone basically to guide you in the direction that will keep you updated all throughout your entire career. Okay, so going ahead with Geetam's BBA program helps you that in the first case, because then you are actually, your professors actually will be pushing you in going forward. And then the role that SEMA plays, that once you're a SEMA member, over a period of time, you will keep on getting these career development programs or several opportunities all throughout. Now, here are certain aspects of corporate finance. So this is how the finance function works. So this is how a typical finance function in an organization is. So they have several departments like order to cash, accounting, taxation, treasury and bank relations, financial planning and analysis. And these are various several different functions that they have to perform over here. So as you can see over here, that invoicing, collections and cash application or GL accounting and all, these all certain functions are again slowly getting automated over a period of time, even in terms of taxation. So all these things are getting automated. And so now the one department which is pretty strong and it remains is treasury and banking relations and financial planning and analysis. So you will probably start your career from one of these three departments, okay, but then you will have to gradually move forward into these two final departments and then maybe even become a CFO. Okay, so now the various expectations people are actually having from finance professionals is that earlier people actually just expected finance professionals to just manage their books and P&L. However, now you are actually finance is playing the role of a business enabler as well. Earlier it was more of a gatekeeper, that's the role that they played, but now you are more of a business enabler, and hence you are required to interact more with your customers and vendors as well, even your business leaders as well, and even your investors and analysts. So these are the various roles that a finance professional is now required to play. And so while interacting with all these people or managing your relations with all these people, you are required to have or possess knowledge of all these various different functions as well. Okay. Now, building up on what Reddy sir actually mentioned, he actually mentioned it more beautifully about the difference between your public accounting and management accounting. So public accounting and management accounting is, fundamentally different in their various aspects. So public accounting has more to do with the rules and regulations of a company or of that country where you're operating your business in, and following the laws of that, the finance laws or the taxation laws of that country. However, the management accountant actually takes a more qualitative and a quantitative approach towards things, and tries to actually analyze whatever data that a person has received or that company has received and make decisions based on that. So your job is basically, this is the basic difference between these two types of, or the two areas of accounting. Okay. And what is easy to automate, I'll actually just, leave you with that thought, like which function is much more easier to automate. Maybe we can just revisit this question at the end of the session. Now, how can SEMA or the Chartered Global Management Accounting qualification help you achieve this resilience and growth? So the entire qualification, the way it is built, it is based on 5 pillars. So one is technical, business, leadership, people, and digital skills also. Okay, so we know that you require some technical skills, like you need to know how is financial accounting and reporting is done, how your business planning, tax strategy is done. We need to know that, okay, you require some business skills, like how to strategize, how to manage your projects and everything. Then again, you need to have your leadership and people skills, because when you're trying about managing others, it requires these two soft aspects as well. So you will be taught about, your team building, communication, on these all factors also you will be groomed on. And we also know that there's something called as a digital skill set that one is required to have. For example, blockchain is a new technology that is coming up. Okay, and blockchain is going to transform our lives the way internet kind of transformed it for our parents. Okay, so having said that, we know that if not, maybe you may not be able to build a blockchain, or okay, but you should at least have a knowledge of how this technology works. So that's how actually we have integrated all these factors about various technologies or the various upcoming technologies into the curriculum, so you know about it by default. And let me tell you, there is not much material available on blockchain online, okay, how to build those blocks and all the detailed information about it. However, if you want to have some basic information given out to you, there is a great website called BlockGeeks. You can actually just go there and get some information to start you off with. Now the CIMA syllabus, or the CGMA Finance Leadership Program syllabus, the way it works is that, so we have several different pillars. So we have about like 3 levels altogether. So strategic management, risk, financial strategy, then financial reporting. These are some of the topics that you will be covering during your curriculum. And this entire curriculum is integrated in your BBA program of Geetam. So this will be taught to you during your lectures, and you will be doing it just along with your normal BBA degree. Okay, and so here are the various the 4 levels. So earlier we had about like certificate, operation management, and strategic level. Now, since you are a student of a Geetam University, your certificate level exam is any which was exempted for you guys. Okay, and all these 16 exams that you had to give earlier have now been, just actually just brought down, and you just have to give one case study exam for each level. So during your 3 years program with Geetam, at each year or in your FY BBA, you will be also giving your operational level along with your other BBA papers. Then your management level in the second year, and in your third year, you will be giving the strategic case study exam. Okay, and after you graduate, you will be holding your BBA and CIMA part qualified degree. And once after you complete that, you have to show a 3 years of work experience. We conduct a practical experience requirement, a PER interview, and then you are made a part of the CIMA association as well. And then that opens up doors for you for your careers in several other areas or in several other countries maybe. We'll come to that later. Now, here are some of the partners that we work with. So Siemens, of course, then EY, Merck. So these are some of the partners that we have been working with internationally as well. And so the various industries that you could go into are, of course, right from public sector, FMCG, oil and gas, engineering and manufacturing. You can actually just go into any of these various industries and pursue your finance career. And here are some of the roles that you can actually play. Okay. Now I'll actually, we have invited one person who is, she's been pursuing CIMA, the CGM FLP progression. Her name is Akanksha Sharma. I'll actually just invite her over here and ask her to, share her experience with you all. Is Akanksha there?
Yeah, hi Bhakti.
Hey Akanksha. So, can you just tell us quickly about yourself over here?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. I am Akanksha Sharma, a CIMA finalist with over 4.5 years of experience in finance domain, like treasury and banking, financial planning and analysis, and management consulting domain with some of the industry experts. I am graduated from Shahid Bhagat Singh College, finished my MCOM and MBA from Narsi Munji Institute of Management Studies. And after completing all my education, I have enrolled myself for CIMA.
So, Akanksha, let me ask you one thing. You did your BCom and you did your MBA finance as well. What actually prompted you to, pursue CIMA?
Yeah, because after completing my MBA and MCOM, I still felt there is some miss because those are not the differentiating factor anymore. Because every other person is MBA or MCOM nowadays. After getting BCom, they get into the management master degrees. So CIMA was something that I found, and I thank my senior director of previous organization for introducing this to me. After doing CIMA, I still felt there is after doing the MBA, I still felt there is some miss and there is something more that I can achieve. Then I started for the growth opportunities, searching for the growth opportunities, because ultimately I want to get out of the core finance and accounting work, the bookkeeping work that I was doing at that time. And with my master degrees, I was not getting out of it. So it was the time of a pandemic last year that I have enrolled for CIMA, where the jobs of various people were getting down. I took it as an opportunity and enrolled myself for SEMA, started studying through it. So it was a great journey for me. And SEMA has various growth opportunities because like if I tell you that it has completely changed my perspective related to the education patterns, job roles. What SEMA offers is, it is not like the traditional way of studying and remembering the things to pass the exam, but was more in problem solving part, case study solving part, and telling is the practical aspect of business, which has helped me build the strong leadership skills, people management, analytical skills, and other skills that you were just discussing about. So it had helped me a lot in that way.
Okay. And has pursuing SEMA has benefited you so far in
Absolutely.
the past 1.5 years or 2 years maybe?
Absolutely, Bhakti. Actually, there are a large number of MNCs coming in India, as you all know. So there is a growing demand of global accounting professionals. And SEMA is something that teaches us the nuances of strategic management. And also one interesting thing I have seen so far is CAs are asking more about this course to me. So about me, if I tell you, even before giving my exam 3 months back, I got selected in the management consulting team of KPMG, where the eligibility criteria or the candidature was only for CAs, MBAs from top tier B school, and SEMA. So that was the proud moment for me, that yes, I am one part of it. So it had helped me diversifying my profile, and the director of KPMG who was taking my interview. He was also so happy to have us one of the SEMA member to his team now. And I mean, the interview questions that they asked in the SEMA, in the KPMG, was all related to the strategic case studies and the curriculum that I have studied in SEMA. The interview questions were related to same, because they have asked so many situational based questions, which we don't learn in just our MBA or MCOM or BCom curriculum. So those tricky questions and strategic thinking ability has helped me clear that interview.
That's great to hear.
And one more thing about the job profile that I have got is very much similar to what I have studied in SEMA, because that is also in management consulting, and every day in and out I'm attending the meetings, and the CEOs and the directors are discussing the same thing. So it is very much relatable to what we have studied.
That's really great to hear that it has actually been giving you a positive impact, and the best part is you are able to apply your learning in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day working. Now, to close, is there any advice that you would like to give all these aspiring finance professionals?
Surely, because my motto is to spread the awareness among the youth, which was not there at my time, except for CA, MBAs, and MCOM. I am happy that I have decided to pursue SEMA, and the way it has helped me develop myself as a professional. My advice to you all is, before enrolling yourself to any professional qualification, you should check deep for the syllabus or the curriculum what they are offering. So SEMA has a good blend of areas in digitization, ethics, finance, accounting, risk, merger acquisition, and not just the core accounting part. So it completely diversifies your profile and your learning pattern. So you guys are lucky enough, I can say, that even before your graduation, you have been introduced with such a course in your campus. And so I would really, really recommend you all to enroll yourself for SEMA and get benefits of becoming global management accountant.
Thank you, Akanksha. That was really sweet of you. So now we'll move on to the next part of it. So in the past 1 year, since the pandemic has hit, the SEMA team has actually been, going out and also helping all its members and, students with their employment. And so we have been able to place somewhere about 100, 120 students in last 1 year in India itself. Okay, and some of the major employers in India, if I have to name, was definitely IBM, Oracle was there, then KPMG. Another one has been PwC and even E&Y. So these have been some of our major employers in that past entire 1 year. So this is the kind of background noise you get once you are online presenting. So, okay, moving on. Here are some more facts about CIMA and AICPA. So CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and the American Institute of CPAs actually joined hands in 2017, and together now we are known as CIMA and AICPA altogether. So the association is present in over 192 countries, as you can see over here. We are 642,000 members strong, and are served by over 30 offices across the globe. Okay. And so here is a map of the countries that we are present in. So maybe just few countries in Africa and couple of countries in South America. We are present almost everywhere. So even if you want to pursue your career anywhere in these countries, okay, in any one of these countries, you can actually do that with your current qualification. You don't really have to go in any of these countries and do a separate qualification altogether. Okay, so the qualification holds across the globe. So that is one of the major pluses that you have. So in India, when you're passing out from your Geetam University, you will be holding your BBA plus your CIMA, so you have a chance of holding a dual degree. Okay, so that's the major plus that you have over here. Okay, and so why you should choose your CGMA Finance Leadership? I have to just give you, a couple of pointers. You actually will be developing skills which more than 2,000 companies say they value the most. You will be developing competencies that actually address some of the better issues, challenges, and solutions in a better way. Then it actually gives you actionable insights into the business, and you are part of one of the top talent pool in finance function. Okay, and of course you get a universal or the global qualification altogether. So with this, I'll actually stop the presentation over here, and we open the floor to questions and answers.
Yeah.
Bhakti, before the Q&A round, I will just take 1 or 2 minutes to brief them about the admission process in Geetam.
Yes.
Yeah. So for this, can I please share my screen?
Yes, please go ahead.
So I hope my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very good morning, those who have joined us today. So for the application process at Geetam, you have to write the Geetam admission test, which is mandatory. Okay. And the eligibility criteria for joining UG courses, you have to have 50% marks in your +2. And our website link is get.geetam.edu. In this link, you will get all the details of the courses which we are offering for 2021, the fee structure, the campuses which in which they are available, and all the details for the exam pattern, the syllabus, all the details you will get in this link, get.geetam.edu, for the admission process. And regarding Geetam, you will find all the details about Geetam, where it is located, about the various courses which were offered in Geetam. You will find it in geetam.edu, www.geetam.edu. So these are the 2 websites, and our helpline number is 888-884-4000. So this is our helpline number. You can call them up, and you can ask your any queries you have regarding the admission process or any other queries in general. Our email ID is, if you wish to drop a mail to us, you can write a mail at get@geetam.edu, or you can also write to director_admissions@geetam.edu. For admissions related queries, it's better to use get@geetam.edu. Our admission, the admission process has already started. We already have had our first phase of GET exam for UG. The next exam will be held on 17th and 18th of June, 2021. And the application process for the same will close on 14th of June. So in case if you wish to join us, please complete your application process before 14th of June. and your exam details and credentials, everything will
Kia, I think we lost you. Yes, the applications are open now too. You can just visit the website gat.getam.edu and start filling for the course. Start filling for these courses of BBA SEMA specifically. In case of any queries, you can reach out to us on the helpline number which is mentioned, and soon admission counselor will be appointed to you specifically, who will be guiding you throughout the process.
Let me add, Ganesham, one more point.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, for those students who are aspiring to get a scholarship, we have scholarships ranging from 25% to 100%. So if you are a star in your own right, you can even do the course without incurring even 1 rupee, because you can get a 100% scholarship. So for those meritorious students, I should say sky is the limit. In fact, Akanksha said she started SEMA very late after she got her MBA. Akanksha, just for the sake of your information, I'm pleased to inform you that we were able to produce SEMA graduates at the age of 18 and 19. There was a Punjabi boy called Paritosh Gambhir. He qualified at the age of 18. He completed 4 stages of SEMA in 6 months, May, November, May, November.
Yeah, so that is what I was trying to spread awareness, that at that time we were not much aware about these type of courses, and
Right.
now that they have, so they should pursue for it.
Yeah. I mean, this is my experience abroad, not in India though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least now you have the, huge advantage of getting 2 qualifications at one time, the dual degree, the academic degree and the professional degree. And, though I have been lecturing on both SEMA and ACCA, SEMA I like because of the case studies. The way the examiners prepare the case studies, you will never see a similar case study asked in the previous exams. You will see every case developed is very unique. There was a time we had what they call top SEMA, right? Test of competence in cost and management accounting, where you are given pre-seen material, right? For about 40-50 pages, and then you do a lot of research. And then on the day of exam, they give you another 10-15 pages of material. And students are given 2 benches to keep all this material on the table to answer it. And it was always an exciting experience lecturing on the SEMA program, because the SEMA examiners are very innovative, very, very innovative. And for a good student, it's like dream come true, because intellectually you are challenged and you don't need to really depend on your memory. These are all not rote based learning. Every question is unique and you need to think the answer then and there. I think that's something I would like to share with all the youngsters who are planning to do the program.
Yeah, the floor is open to students. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask.
So Akanksha, you are remaining with the final level, is it? Strategic level case?
Yes. For this strategic level
Yeah.
case study.
But you should be having a smooth sailing because you did accounting through and through, accounting and finance. You did from Delhi University your first degree,
Yeah.
and then you
So I
were.
am planning to give this year.
You should also do CFA
Yeah.
one of these days, the American one.
See, right after this.
Yes.
Due to some work challenges and learning new things in the work, I paused the studies. But surely this year I'm going to give my exam.
Right. That would be great. Because you may not have the same enthusiasm at a later stage in life. So whatever you want to really reach heights, it's better you try to reach before you're 30.
Earlier, right?
Yeah.
I've experienced that.
Because from the social front, you will see more and more obligations coming your way.
Yeah,
And yep. And even professionally, it's likely to be quite challenging for you to find time.
agree. And even I have seen people at director level at my companies asking to me about SEMA course, even if they are CA.
Right. Somebody is asking scope of SEMA in India. Right. Okay. I know. Probably you will be quite keen to answer. Tasneem. Somebody is asking a question. Scope of SEMA in India. Okay. My answer is SEMA has got great scope anywhere. Doesn't matter either India or US or Canada. It's an international passport for you. It's internationally recognized. I think in almost 120, 150 countries. Wherever you go, you are the most sought after person. People will be. It's all about your skills, your knowledge. As you know, that companies always look for the right people. They always look for the torch bearers. So even in India, we got so many multinational companies, and you end up in a very good job. In a lot of these companies, you got SEMA qualified people. They do understand how important SEMA is, and they know the quality and the caliber of the SEMA grads. So whether in India, I don't think you need to worry that SEMA is a British qualification. Therefore, in India, I won't get much mileage out of it. In fact, I would like to mention when I was abroad, a lot of Indian chartered accountants and cost accountants, they were all itching to do the SEMA program because they know it's an international qualification. And whereas our Indian qualifications at times they are limited to the Indian scenario, especially in the area of accounting and finance.
And just to add to what Sir said, we also help students in terms of the placement opportunities. So you don't need to really worry about, the kind of opportunities we get, because as Bhakti showed you in terms of the slides, with the corporates, what we are working with. So specifically all the international audit firms and companies like Wipro, HP, ABB, all of them, they do recognize the SEMA qualification and the value the students who have done the qualification gets on the table. So they very well aware about it and are looking forward to hire SEMA qualified. In fact, Akansha, if you can share something, how SEMA helped you in terms of the placements as well.
One sec, Tasneem, I could see a few more questions. Can I answer those?
Sure.
Somebody was asking Indian SEMA or or SEMA, which is better along MBA, sir. Right, I'm an Indian CMA, but honestly, I would say when I was doing my Indian CMA, I didn't have any plan to go abroad and work. For me, it was rather accidental now, but the age is different. We never know, where we are going to work. This year, we may be in India, and a few years down the line, we may be in other countries as well. So, now we are talking about the entire globe being a village, with so much of economic integration. So if I were you, I would rather do an international qualification and then keep my options open. So in case if somebody knocks on my door in terms of an international assignment, at least I can show that person I have the international qualification, which is highly respected everywhere. So my answer to your question, sir, is SEMA is not a bad bet for you to go on. Another one, sir, can we pursue SEMA after completing ACCA? Yes, I think in the accounting field, there are many people who have multiple qualifications. But personally, I'm not not for it, because you need to know, where your heart lies. If if you want to be an accountant sticking to the statutory requirements, stewardship function, stick with ACCA. On the other hand, you want to enjoy variety, be part of decision making, you want to be somebody providing information to managers, go for SEMA. But no one stops you from doing SEMA after you are done with ACCA. There are people who pursue both of them simultaneously. It's an international phenomenon, not just in India. Everywhere in the world it does happen, because as Akanksha said, how do you differentiate yourself from the rest of the crowd? That is the determining factor. If you can demonstrate that you have something different and unique from everyone else, that's when the industry will salute you and everyone will be after you. So I wouldn't mind doing both of them simultaneously or one after another. Somebody is asking, as you are freshers for this course, sir, can you advise us some things about this? My friend, I don't think you need to worry whether you are a fresher. In fact, it is better you start something as a fresher than thinking that you are already an expert. Certain times it does happen even in Indian CA. There are students for CA coming those days, my days. People used to come from BCom and people used to come from BSc. And the people who used to come from BSc background, they were much faster in clearing the Indian CA than the people from the BCom background, because the BCom students felt they knew already accounting and they were complacent. Whereas the BSc people, being freshers, they were very, very, should I say, studious and meticulous right from day one, and they came up with flying colors. So in fact, being a fresher, you always have that unique advantage, learning things afresh with a lot of interest without any preconceived notions. Someone is saying, may I please know if there is any time period during the year for attempting the case study exam? Tasneem, I leave it to you.
Yeah, so case study exams are conducted 4 times in a year, Feb, May, August, and November. So you can plan your studies accordingly. But the way we work with GTAM is that we make sure that you go for one case study exam before the end of your annual year, academic year. So for the first year students, we will be planning that you complete your operational case study exam before you move to the second year. So that is how within 3 years, by the end of your third year of graduation, you will be completing the strategic case study exam as well. That's how the teaching and the support would be available for you to crack the exams.
Yes, any more queries from the floor?
Is there any entrance exam for the BBA? Yes, there is a GAT exam, general admission test, and the score in the test will make you eligible for a scholarship, as I said earlier, ranging from 25% to 100%. I think, Ghanshyam, you want to shed some light on the GAT, please?
Yes, we have this GAT examination, and we have for all the streams, and for the management also we have the question paper is for 200 marks. We offer scholarships on the ranges of 25, 50, 75, and 100%. The paper pattern is available on our website, which is already shared in the chat. You can just go to the chat and you can click on those links. gat.geetham.edu is our official website, and in case of any queries related to the admission process, you can reach out on our helpline number and the mail ID, registered mail ID.
Right. There is one more question. Can you please explain the process of the SEMA exam? Maybe Tasneem, within less than a minute, can you kindly answer that, please?
So SEMA case study exams are subjective exams, online exams where you have a case study preparation, the way sir explained about how case study exams go. you have a pre-seen material given to you before the examination, and then based on that, you'll have questions to write solve during the examination. So it's an online subjective exam which you can give at a Pearson News Center, or because of pandemic, now we have made exams available to be appeared from home as well, from your own computer through proctoring method. So you can do that. Once you register as a SEMA student, you'll have your own MySEMA account. And from there, you'll be able to schedule your exams as soon as you have completed your learning for the case study preparation. So precisely that is how it will happen. Once you come on board, we'll be having another session in terms of explaining you how the entire pattern and the case study exam.
Right. Amarnath, the one who asked this question, I would like to add to what Tasneem has said. You have lots of MCQs that take place throughout the year, and then you'll only do one external final examination, that is a case study. So you will have to do 3 case studies, one each at the end of first, second, and third years, right? But during the year, there will be some tests done, through MCQs online, just to ensure that you are in touch with the subject. So it's in a way, it's rather easier now compared to what it was some 2-3 years ago. Now, someone is asking how to complete e-counseling when we didn't even have our 12th exams. Ghanshyam, you take care of it.
Yes, I can understand the situations are not in our control as of now due to the pandemic.
Right.
There are many boards which have not declared their results yet, either it may be state boards or ICSE. But CBSE has recently come up with a decision that they have completely waived off their result, and they completely waived off their exams, and they have proceeding with the other type of results being assessed on the parameters of their 11th and their previous education parameters.
Right.
So here, when we are speaking about selecting the campus and selecting the university before completion of your qualification criteria, there are many other courses which are going in that way. Like even when we are studying in MBA, we will be selecting our course in the month of September itself for the next year, in the month of November and December itself for the next year.
Right.
It's better to lock your seat. Once when you complete your exams, you will be allowed and you can study your course curriculum over here.
Right.
In case if you miss the opportunity, we cannot delay 1 year just because of the pandemic. It's delaying 1 year affects a lot in our career progression stages.
Right. Thank you. Now somebody is asking, is SEMA based on accounting? Should we study accounting in SEMA? Now my answer there is, as Akanksha has already mentioned, accounting is there, but accounting is not the entire syllabus. Accounting is one of the many things students do. You do a lot of technology, information systems, you do law, you do economics, you do strategy. I think the focus is more on decision making. How do you help as a chartered management accountant? How do you help your CEO? How do you help your other senior managers, like your production manager, your IT manager, resource manager, your marketing manager, because everyone is looking at you for providing information. So please, if you have any, same thing, you also do a bit of taxation. So SEMA, I think in ACCA, probably you see more accounting, more financial accounting than SEMA. So accounting is not the only thing. Accounting is one of many subjects you learn. And especially I want to tell you, financial accounting lost its importance after you have gotten a lot of accountancy software packages. As long as you feed in the data, the accounting system will give you your balance sheet, your P&L, your ratios, your cash flow statement, you name it. That's the reason why over the years, financial accountants lost their prominence and importance, whereas management accountants gained their importance due to the same reason. So please don't worry about accounting bothering you.
Yeah, and I also want to add on to this. Sorry, sir.
Go on,
I also want to add on to this because accounting is just one part of whole finance domain. So finance is the umbrella of the BCom and MCom part. Like you have sales, marketing. It is something like finance, and accounting is only the one root of it. At one point of time, you don't have to do the accounting work because AI and the automation that is happening, that is taking over the accounting work. So it is the broad range of finance that we need to focus on. And if at any point of time we want to diversify our career from accounting to some other field of finance, you will get to know that knowledge and that platform through SEMA, and not just the accounting work. So don't focus just on accounting. I can understand, because after 12th, you guys think that accounting is everything in finance, but accounting is just one part. There is a lot more about finance.
Right. Someone is asking a typical Indian question. How many exemptions does this course provide? I think I always say India is a country of exemptions. Everything we want to do, how many exemptions do I get?
Like we used to ask, how much interest will we get with this shares and mutual funds? Direct questions.
Right.
So we have another set of question over here.
Let me answer this very quickly. See, what happens is, in the new system, students get exemptions from all the papers of SEMA except the 3 case studies. So that means effectively, but then those case studies are good enough to test whether you have the knowledge of the entire stage or not. So I don't think you really need to worry about the exemptions. Now, what is the post of SEMA in the company? Maybe Akanksha, you can answer this better.
Yeah. And I also want to throw some light on the exemptions part. People looking for exemptions only want the degree, and the degree only won't help you in the cracking the interview or doing the practical work. It's the knowledge that you study in those 3 case study exams, and it is interesting. It's not that boring or theoretical. The knowledge that you get will help you get through the interviews and into the good position of jobs. And to your second question, that was?
Like, what is the post of a SEMA in a
Post
company?
of a SEMA, yeah. So it is not only the post, it is not that you graduated from the college and you become the director of the company. Everything starts, even a CA starts at a fresher level, and it will help you immensely at the time you get a good level of when you get a good level of experience, you will get a good post, but earlier than any other course.
Yeah,
so every time you have to start as a fresher.
Yeah, I would say that the career opportunities are quite many.
Yeah.
And, you can be, as I said earlier, you can even be a consultant in companies like Ernst & Young or, all these big 5. You can join as an accountant or a management accountant. But remember, once you have the SEMA qualification, that exposure will enable you to grow faster in your career compared to any other degree. I think, as Akanksha rightly said, the start may be the same, but the pace at which you grow will make the difference.
Yes, sir. There's one more question. Tasnim, I feel that you could answer this. There's a question regarding registration process of SEMA with BBA SEMA at Geetham Institute of Management. How the registration process differs from a normal way of SEMA and for BBA SEMA at Vizag, Geetham Institute of Management.
So once we have all the interested students, those who are joining the BBA program, and this will all happen at the back end to the Geetham team itself. It's just that you register for the course, and we will be at the back end doing the entire registration process, and then specifically doing certain induction sessions for you. So what is different for you is the other students have to go online and register and make the payment online to the SEMA portal. For you, it will happen to the Geetham University admission process along with that. So that will be the major difference.
Thank you, Tasnim. I hope that answer would be helpful for each and everyone.
Are we done, or do we still have any questions to
Is it necessary to pursue MBA after completing SEMA? As I heard that SEMA is equal degree to MBA. Yes, the answer is there in your question itself. SEMA is a globally recognized course, and MBA is not compulsory, because you could get better opportunities than doing MBA in any of the tier 3B schools. You will be more equivalent to Tier 1 B schools if you're doing CIMA.
Yeah, and also if you are planning to have a career in finance, that VBA plus CIMA, they are good enough. You don't really need to have MBA finance on top of it, unless you would like to keep your options open and then do maybe MBA marketing or MBA HR. But otherwise, in the area of finance, CIMA is a good business qualification. And with CIMA already in your bag, I don't think you can look for MBA finance. It's a waste of time for you. It doesn't add much value.
That's all, Kia. We can wrap it up.
So we are done with all the Q&As. We tried to answer almost all the questions which we got. And I have posted the details about the admissions in the chat box. Please note it down in case if you want to apply for Geetam. The next exam, as I told, will be held on 17th and 18th of June, and the application process will close on 14th of June itself. So please complete your application process before that, and please feel free to reach out to us. You can call us at our helpline number, or you can also get in touch with any of our admission coordinators. They will be ready to help you. So in case if you have any queries, do reach out to us. We would be happy to help. So that's all for now. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Professor Gautam. Thank you, Tasneem. Thank you, Bhakti. Bhakti has left. I could not.
No, I'm here.
Yeah.
She's very much here.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhakti. Thank you, Tasneem, for guiding the students about the CIMA program, and hope this will help them a lot. They also got to know a lot about CIMA. And last but not the least, I will just launch a poll, which will take hardly 1 minute. So audience, those who have joined with us, please let me know your feedback so that we can help you out. So I'm launching the poll. So please respond to the poll. Yeah, 92% of the 100% have voted. So I will end the poll over here. Thanks a lot for sharing your feedback, and thanks a lot for being with us today. Please stay safe and take care of yourself and your family. So we will wrap it up over here. Thanks a lot for joining, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye,
everyone.
Akansha.
Thank you, everyone.